Hi, this is all the chapters of history. Have you heard the land of grasslands? It is not well known, but Mongolia is also a divided country by Outer and Inner Mongolia. The Mongols, descendants of Genghis Khan, are perhaps the most famous nomadic people in human history. Then how much do you know about Mongolian history? Let's begin all the chapters of Mongolia history. The Mongolians didn't live in the Mongolian grasslands from the beginning. Before the Mongols, the Huns, the Xianbeis, the Rurans, the Turks, and the Uyghurs took turns to build their own nomadic empire on what is now the steppes of Mongolia. After the collapse of the last Uyghur Empire in the 9th century, when there was a void in the Mongolian grasslands, a tribe called Shui people, the predecessor of the Mongols, settled on the Mongolian grasslands. It is believed Shuis originated in the Aragon River, which flows on the border between China and Russia. In the 9th and 11th century, Shuis gradually moved from the Aragon River basin to the Mongolian grasslands. Shuis were also a nomadic tribe living not as a single organized national unity, but as a group of tribes called ulus. It was a time when they didn't have the concept of an ethnic group yet. The Shuis, which settled on the Mongolian grasslands, are collectively called Kamag Mongol. There was a figure who united Kamag Mongol into one Mongolia. There was Borjigin clan among Kamag Mongol. When Yasuge, the chief of Borjigin clan, was assassinated by other clan, his young son Temujin was too young to inherit the chief of the tribe and was driven out of Borjigin clan. Temujin had to take his mother and younger siblings out of the tribe and have a very difficult time growing up. As his father Yasuge decided to marry his son with Ongir clan's girl while he was alive, the grown-up Temujin visited the chief of the Ongir clan. Temujin said to the chief of the Ongir clan to keep promise of the marriage, and the chief of the Ongir clan married his daughter Borte and Temujin. And Temujin went to the Carrier clan. Togril, the chief of the Carrier clan, was a brother-in-law with Temujin's father Yasuge. Temujin built his reputation on the battlefield under Togril's Carrier clan, and Temujin became an irreplaceable friend with Jamuka, the chief of the Jajira clan. After gaining independence from the Carrier clan, Temujin returned to his native Borjigin clan and became the chief of the Borjigin clan. At the same time, Togril of Carrier clan, who was wary of Jamuka's growth, asked Temujin to subdue Jamuka. In a cold-hearted nomadic society with no lasting friendship, Temujin and Jamuka fought the Battle of Dalan Baljut in 1187, and the winner was Jamuka. Temujin's whereabouts are unknown for the next few years after the loss. Perhaps Temujin worked to restore the broken tribe in some way. Meanwhile, the Jin dynasty, which occupied northern China, gave the title of Ongkan to Togril of the Carrier clan, instructing him to arrange Mongolian grasslands. Ongkan again brought Temujin to the war to unite the Mongolian grasslands. But Jamuka, who kept Temujin in check, told Ongkan that Temujin was trying to betray him. In 1203, the Ongkan-Jamuka allies defeated Temujin at the Battle of Kalakalta Sands. Temujin and his survived soldiers ran away to Baljuna Lake. Temujin swore a Baljuna covenant to pay back this humiliation with the survivors, drinking muddy water, and survived eating the horses they rode. Temujin attacked the Ongkan-Jamuka coalition, which had let their guard down after the victory. Temujin won the battle with only 2,600 soldiers after 3 days of fighting. Ongkan was killed while on the run, and Jamuka fled to the Naiman clan. At the Battle of Chakir Mount in 1205, Temujin also defeated the Naiman clan. Jamuka tried to flee to Russia, but was taken to Temujin, trapped by his mass betrayal. Temujin tried to save his one-time friend, but Jamuka demanded his death. But when Jamuka asked not to bleed, Temujin made him stomp on his horse and executed Jamuka. At the end of the Battle of Chakir Mount, Temujin subjugated or conquered all the clans that consisted Kamag Mongol. In 1206, the grand chiefs of Mongolian nomadic societies gathered to form Temujin as a representative of all Mongolian nomadic societies at a meeting of a grand chiefs called Kuriltai. That's how Temujin was elected as the highest grade Khan to unite the Kamag Mongol. In Kuriltai of the grand chiefs meeting, a new title was given to Temujin, which was Genghis Khan. Genghis Khan meant monarch of the world or king of kings. Genghis Khan, who became the Great Khan, proclaimed Yeke Mongol Ulus, meaning the Great Mongol Empire. Finally, national consciousness of Mongolia was formed. Genghis Khan formed his guard unit called Keshik and also organized an administrative unit called Tama consisting of Uyghurs. As the Uyghurs were appointed as public officials of the Mongol Empire was civilized quickly, creating an administrative system and promulgating laws. Also, Mongolians made their own letters called Paspa letter influenced by the Uyghur letters. Genghis Khan turned to the outside of the Mongolian grasslands. Genghis Khan attacked the Western Xia dynasty made by Tanguts, which was located on the Silk Road in northwest China. Genghis Khan received Western Xia's surrender in 1209. From 1211, Genghis Khan started a war with the Jin dynasty, which occupied northern China. At the Battle of Yeheling, Genghis Khan defeated 400,000 main forces of the Jin dynasty. Feeling a great sense of crisis, the Jin dynasty moved its capital from Beijing to Kaifeng, and in 1215, Genghis Khan toppled Beijing. Genghis Khan tried to finish Jin dynasty, but a new enemy appeared. It was Karakitai in Central Asia. Kuchuluk, the son of the Naiman clan's chief, who was the last to give in when Genghis Khan united the Mongolian grasslands, fled to Karakitai and became king there. Kuchuluk was only looking at the opportunity to get revenge on Genghis Khan. In 1218, Genghis Khan destroyed Karakitai and occupied the Silk Road in Central Asia. The destruction of Karakitai brought the Mongol Empire to the border with the Islamic kingdom of Khorasan in Central Asia. Sultan Muhammad II of Khorasan Kingdom tried to have a friendly relationship with Genghis Khan, but the feudal lord of Otra in the Khorasan Kingdom attacked the Genghis Khan's envoys. Genghis Khan stormed into the Khorasan Kingdom with 200,000 troops and caused a massacre in Otra. Genghis Khan poured gold-melted water into the feudal lord's face. In 1220, Genghis Khan overthrew the Khorasan Kingdom, and Muhammad II, the Sultan of Khorasan Kingdom, also died. After the conquest of Khorasan Kingdom, Genghis Khan sent his subordinate Subutai and Jebe to the west. They went through Azerbaijan and Georgia, then on the Volga River, where what is now Russia's Volgograd. The Ruses, who were the people living in Eastern Europe, are then divided into the who were friendly to the Mongols and the who were hostile to Mongols. The Ruses who tried to fight the Mongols flocked to what is now western Ukraine, and Ruses who were cooperative with the Mongols set up the Principality of Moscow, what is continued to Russia. As Genghis Khan surrounded the Western Xia, took Beijing from the Jin dynasty, and defeated Karakitai in Khorasan Kingdom, the Mongolian army accumulated experience of the seas, which had been vulnerable to the Mongolian nomadic army. Genghis Khan, who understood the need for an engineering force, created an engineering force from the Han Chinese to the Arabs, Persians, and Armenians. Additionally, the Mongolian army had the upper hand in the information warfare by spying merchants on the Silk Road. Genghis Khan also established post houses at every transportation hub in the conquered territories, allowing messengers to replace their horses, deliver supplies, and establish a system of effective command. In 1226, the Western Xia, who had promised to surrender, rebelled against Genghis Khan, and Genghis Khan went on to conquer the Western Xia. However, in 1227, Genghis Khan died in a fall accident. Even if he was dying, he left a will to conquer Western Xia and destroy it thoroughly. According to Genghis Khan's will, the Mongolian army massacred civilians, including the imperial family of the Western Xia. Western Xia was totally destroyed. Genghis Khan's tomb is still not found yet. Genghis Khan had a third son Ogedei, or a fourth son Tului, in mind as his successor during his lifetime. Genghis Khan didn't declare succession for sure, but he was a little more inclined to his third son Ogedei. After Genghis Khan's death, Kuriltai of the Grand Chiefs meeting tried to support fourth son Tului as the next great Khan, but Tului, who wanted to follow his father's wish, gave way to his brother Ogedei. Ogedei Khan, who was crowned the second great Khan in 1229, resumed a war with the Jin dynasty. At the same time, he invaded Goryeo of Korea in 1231 and received Goryeo surrender out of concern that Goryeo would help the Jin dynasty. But later, with Korea openly showing its hostile stance against Mongol Empire, Oguzade Khan continued to invade Korea since then, while continuing to wage war with the Jin dynasty. In 1234, Oguzade Khan finally destroyed the Jin dynasty and took over northern China. In 1236, Oguzade Khan ordered his nephew Batu to take military expedition to Europe. Batu's father was Oguzade Khan's eldest brother Juchi, who was Genghis Khan's eldest son. Genghis Khan gave his eldest son Juchi the Caucasus region, which could lead to Russia as manor, and the territory led to his son Batu. Batu led for Europe with Master Commander Subutai and advanced past Ukraine to Hungary and Poland. After destroying Poland and Hungary, Batu's Mongolian army declared war on the Holy Roman Empire through Austria, but Oguzade Khan's death in 1241 forced Batu to stop all expeditions and return back. The third great Khan of Mongol Empire was Guyuk Khan, the son of Oguzade Khan. Guyuk Khan kept his cousin Batu in check for his brilliant work on the European expedition. Batu also had an authenticity to be crowned the great Khan. But Guyuk Khan died of an illness in 1248, and Batu used his political power with the idea of becoming a kingmaker rather than becoming great Khan to make Mungke, the son of Genghis Khan's fourth son Tului, as the fourth great Khan. The fourth great Khan, Mongke Khan, allowed autonomy over Batu's Caucasus estate, and Batu built Kipchak Khanate in the Volga River and Caucasus region. And Mongke Khan ordered his brother Hulagu to go on an Arab expedition and his other brother Kubilai to go on an expedition to the southern Song dynasty, which was occupying the southern part of China. Hulagu, who started his expedition in 1253, swept away Iran, attacked the Arab Abbasid dynasty, and took Baghdad, the capital of the Abbasid dynasty, in 1258. Baghdad was completely destroyed, and countless treasure-like ancient books piled up in Baghdad were burned or drowned. The scholars were all killed, resulting in the regression of Arab civilization for hundreds of years. Hulagu continued his expedition to Syria and Palestine, and when only Egypt was left, Mongke Khan's death forced him to stop all expeditions and return back. Later, Hulagu was given the territory of West and Middle Asia, which was an Arab culture as its autonomy, and built Il Khanate. In addition, there were estates given to the descendants of Chagatai, the second son of Genghis Khan, and estates given to the descendants of Oguzade Khan, the third son of Genghis Khan. The Mongol Empire was composed of the direct control of the great Khans and four Khanates: Kipchak Khanate, Il Khanate, Chagatai Khanate, and Oguzade Khanate. Then how was going on with Kubilai's side, who left for the southern Song expedition? In 1254, after Kubilai destroyed a Dali kingdom founded by ethnic minorities in southwestern China, he marched along the Yangtze River into Hangzhou, the capital of southern Song. Ahead of an all-out war with southern Song dynasty, Mungke Khan, the fourth great Khan, died. Kubilai, who was conducting an expedition to southern Song dynasty, was a strong candidate for the next great Khan. But Kubilai's brother Arik Bokeh gathered public opinion in the Mongolian capital of Karakorum in his favor in Kurultai of the Grand Chiefs meeting. Kubilai briefly stopped his expedition to southern Song and returned to the Mongolian grasslands to fight a civil war with his brother Arik Bokeh. At this time, the prince in Korea of Korea visited Kubilai, not Arik Bokeh, and honored Kubilai as great Khan. Kubilai was so overjoyed that he promised to never invade Korea of Korea again and to guarantee all the customs of Korea. In 1264, Arik Bokeh eventually surrendered and Kubilai was crowned the fifth great Khan. But the fight between Arik Bokeh and Kubilai was not over yet, so please don't forget Arik Bokeh. Kubilai Khan, who was the fifth great Khan of Mongol Empire, decided to resume the conquest of the southern Song, which he had not yet completed. Before that, in 1271, Kubilai Khan moved the capital from Karakorum in the Mongolian grasslands to Beijing in northern China and proclaimed a new national title, the Yuan dynasty. In 1276, Mongolian general named Bayan captured Hangzhou, the capital of the southern Song. By 1279, Bayan had wiped out the remnants of southern Song. Mongol Empire finally had taken over the entire Chinese continent. Kubilai Khan wanted to rule over the Chinese continent, not just taking over China as a war. No matter how dominant the Mongolian army was in military power and was a multi-ethnic group, Han Chinese was overwhelmingly large in the proportion of the governed in mainland China. In order to govern these many Han Chinese effectively, Kublai Khan needed a familiar rule of governance to Han Chinese. That's why Kublai Khan came out from the Mongolian grasslands and made the Chinese-style national name Wian, which was also familiar to the Han Chinese. Kublai Khan pursued the great Khan of the nomadic people and the emperor of the agricultural people. In this way, the Great Mongol Empire, which was composed of the Wian dynasty and the four khanates, became a single empire with the largest territory in human history. It was at this point that Marco Polo arrived in Wian dynasty. Wian dynasty made Tibetan Buddhism as the national religion. However, Kublai Khan failed in the Vietnam and Japan expeditions. After Kublai Khan's death, the Wian dynasty went downhill. The dispute of Great Khan's succession broke out violently, and four khanates acted up. Nominally, the four khanates had to pay their allegiance to the Wian emperor. However, the four khanates often argued against the influence of the Wian emperor. The society was also terrible. Wian dynasty government's excessive support for Tibetan Buddhism weakened the national finances, and corrupt Lamais monks were also rampant. The great Khans of the Wian dynasty were steeped in luxurious life, and the Wian dynasty had to suffer from chronic inflation as the government issued banknotes called jiachao excessively. Eventually, from the mid-14th century, groups of Han Chinese resisting the Wian dynasty were formed in the central and southern regions of China, saying that they would not be governed by the Mongols. It was Red Turbans. Zhu Yuanzhang from the Red Turbans founded the Ming dynasty in southern China in 1368 after integrating warlords with various factions of Red Turbans. The Wian dynasty couldn't stop the Ming dynasty's northward advance, and the 15th Great Khan Togun Temur returned to Karakorum in Mongolia, abandoning the capital Beijing. Eventually, Mongols went back in their Mongolian steppes, and the Han Chinese took back the mainland of China. The Wian dynasty, which once conquered all of China, was reduced back to the Mongolian steppes. Wian dynasty history after reduced the Mongolian steppes again is distinguished by calling it the Northern Wian. In 1370, 5th Great Khan Togun Temur died in Karakorum, the capital of the Mongolian steppes, and his son Ayushiridara was crowned 6th Great Khan. Following Ayushiridara, his brother Togus Temur became the 17th Great Khan in 1378. Do you remember Arik Boke, who competed with the 5th Great Khan Kublai Khan, who first declared the Wian dynasty? After Kublai Khan won the competition, the emperors of Wian dynasty were all descendants of Kublai Khan. But Yesudere, a descendant of Arik Boke, killed Togus Temur in 1388 and became the Great Khan himself. Yesudere decided not to refer to him as an emperor, saying he would only maintain his identity as a nomadic Khan. The title Wian dynasty disappeared, leaving only Mongolia. West of Mongolia, in the desert region of Central Asia, there were Western Mongolians called Oirats. They were different from Eastern Mongolia, which lived in the eastern steppes of Mongolia. After the dissolution of the Northern Wian dynasty, the Borjigin clan, Genghis Khan's descendants, were based on the Eastern Mongolia and continued to success the Great Khan, but the Oirats of Western Mongolia began to influence more in Mongolian society than Eastern Mongolia. Feeling a sense of crisis due to the steep growth of Oirats, Yongle Emperor of Ming dynasty conquered the Mongolian steppes and surrounded Oirats. But after death of Yongle Emperor, the Oirats immediately attacked and looted the Ming. The man who led Oirats was Esen. Even Esen was under the Great Khan inherited by Borjigin clan Genghis Khan's descendants. Esen wielded his power more than Great Khans by calling himself the new title of Taishi. Esen Taishi attacked Ming from time to time and even captured Ming's 6th emperor, Zhengtong Emperor of Ming, in 1449. Esen Taishi later tried to ascend to the Great Khan himself, but there was a still perception within Mongolia that only Borjigin clan, descendants of Genghis Khan, could become the Great Khan. Bayan Monke from Borjigin clan started a civil war with Esen, and Esen lost. Esen was killed by his men. The honor of the Mongolian steppes returned to the eastern Mongolia, and they made the capital Chahar, which is the region of Inner Mongolia in today's China. Of course, it was on Chinese territory at this time. Dayan Khan, the son of Bayan Monkey who united Mongolia, divided the Mongolian steppes into 6 tumans, consisting of 3 left wings and 3 right wings. Altan Khan, the ruler of Ordos, one of the right wing, once again invaded the Ming dynasty on a large scale. The political power of Altan Khan was stronger than that of the Great Khan. Altan Khan wanted to be the Great Khan of Mongolia, but he was only a ruler of one wing, and instead, Altan Khan was given the religious sacredness of Tibetan Buddhism, with looking up to the Tibetan Buddhist monk Sonyam Gyatso as his teacher. Altan Khan also gave noble title to his teacher Sonyam Gyatso to gain religious support from Tibetan Buddhism, the Dalai Lama. After the death of Altan Khan, Mongolia fell again, and Ligdan Khan was the one that restored Mongolia. Ligdan Khan made efforts to centralize the Great Khan's rule by implementing various reforms and promoting trades with the Ming dynasty, but he was attacked by the rising Manchurians. Ligdan Khan of Mongolia and Hong Taiji of the Manchurians fought fiercely, and in 1634, Hong Taiji took over Chahar, Mongolia's capital. Ligdan Khan died on the run, and in 1635, Ligdan Khan's family surrendered to Hong Taiji. So the Mongols were annexed by the Manchurians, and Hong Taiji, who united the Mongols, became emperor and proclaimed the Qing dynasty. The Mongols were incorporated into the Qing dynasty, but some were opposed to the rule of Qing dynasty. It was a tribe once called Oirats in Western Mongolia. Oirats, which was distributed from southern Siberia to the western part of Mongolia, led to a nomadic tribe named Zungar. Zungar is called the last nomadic empire in human history, and its founder was Khaltan Khan. Khaltan Khan was also a disciple of Tibetan 5th Dalai Lama, receiving religious support from Tibet. Khaltan Khan further expanded the power of Zungar and occupied the Mongolian steppes in 1688. The Mongols, who were friendly to the Qing dynasty, flocked to the south of Mongolia, to what is now Inner Mongolia, while the Mongols who were hostile to the Qing dynasty flocked to the Mongolian steppes, which is now Outer Mongolia. From 1696 to 1697, Kangxi Emperor, the 4th emperor of the Qing dynasty, headed to the Mongolian steppes to conquer the Zungar Khanate. Khaltan Khan, who was defeated at the Battle of Jiaomodo, died while on the run. Khaltan Khan's nephew claimed to be subjugated to the Qing dynasty, and the Qing dynasty maintained the autonomy of Zungar Khanate. However, the new Great Khan, Amursana of Zungar, rebelled against the Qing dynasty again, and Qianlong Emperor, the 6th emperor of the Qing dynasty, suppressed the rebellion of Zungar twice in 1755 and 1757. Qianlong Emperor massacred the Zungar and switched to direct rule. At this time, 90% of Zungars died at that time due to the Qing army's massacre and an epidemic that coincided with it. The proportion of descendants directly under Zungar today is very small and hard to find. Because of this history of the Qing dynasty in Mongolia, the southern part of Mongolia, the region of what is now Inner Mongolia, was somewhat favorable to China. On the contrary, the steppes of Mongolia, the region of what is now Outer Mongolia, were hostile to China. From the 19th century, the Qing dynasty collapsed dramatically. The Qing dynasty promoted modernization, but the wind of modernization did not reach the Mongolian steppes. The Mongols were being cooled from the times, and the number of the poor grew exponentially. In 1911, the Qing dynasty was destroyed by the Xinhai Revolution. As a result, Mongolia was divided into 2 forces: Mongolian aristocrats in the south of Mongolia, what is now today's Inner Mongolia, which had long been subjugated to the Qing dynasty and was friendly to the Chinese region, decided to incorporate into the Republic of China established by the Han Chinese through the Xinhai Revolution. On the other hand, in the steppes of Mongolia, what is now today's Outer Mongolia region, they tried to become independent from the Chinese countries. In Mongolia, where there was no Khan after the incorporation of the Qing dynasty, Tibetan Buddhism religious leader called Jebchungdaba Kutuktu was leading Mongolia society. Bogd Khan, the 8th Jebchungdaba Kutuktu, became Khan and established the provisional government called Urga. The provisional government of Urga was in Ulaanbaatar, the capital of present-day Mongolia, and prepared for the independence of Mongolia. So Mongolia was finally divided into Outer Mongolia and Inner Mongolia. However, the Beijing government of the Republic of China did not recognize Mongolia's independence. There was one more country that wanted to enter the Mongolian steppes. It was Russia. During the competition between China, Russia, and Mongolia, Russia and the Republic of China agreed to recognize autonomy in Outer Mongolia by Caleta Agreement. But 2 years later, in 1917, Russia collapsed by the Russian Revolution. The Beijing government of the Republic of China sent Xu Shuzheng to Outer Mongolia in 1919 to incorporate Outer Mongolia into the territory of the Republic of China, saying that the Caleta Agreement was invalid since Russia was collapsed. White Movement's army, led by Roman von Ungern-Sternberg, pushed down from the Russian Civil War, entered the Mongolian steppes in 1920, and committed horrific killings and looting. In reaction to White Army's terror, socialism spread in Mongolian society, forming the Mongolian People's Party led by Su Batar and Choi Balsan in 1921. Mongolian People's Party expelled both the White Army led by Roman von Ungern-Sternberg and Xu Shuzheng's Republic of China forces, and established the Mongolian People's Republic when Bogd Khan died in 1924. Meanwhile, the Japanese military in Manchuria advanced to the Inner Mongolia region in 1936, occupied Inner Mongolia, and established a puppet government called Mengjiang, and made Mengjiang United Autonomous Government in 1939 at the height of the Second Sino-Japanese War. Demchik Donrob, the aristocrat of Inner Mongolia, a descendant of Genghis Khan's family, was pro-Japanese and decided to participate in the Mengjiang United Autonomous Government. When the Japanese were defeated in 1945, Demchik Donrob immediately pledged allegiance to Chiang Kai-shek of the Republic of China, but Chiang Kai-shek was defeated in the Chinese Civil War in 1949. The Inner Mongolia region had the Soviet Union and the Mongolian People's Republic above and the Chinese People's Republic below, so naturally, there were many communists. Demchik Donrob, who pledged allegiance to Chiang Kai-shek, was eventually ousted from the Inner Mongolia region as well. Let's look at the history of the Mongolian People's Republic, which was established in Outer Mongolia. Two of the founding leaders of the Mongolian People's Party were Suhu Batar and Choi Balsan, but Suhu Batar died shortly before the founding of the Mongolian People's Republic. The Choi Balsan enjoyed the only power. Choi Balsan denied Genghis Khan's reverence culture, believed only Stalinist communism, and reigned as a dictator. They banned the use of Mongolian alphabet characters and forced Russian Cyrillic characters. During the Second Sino-Japanese War, the Japanese military established the Mengjiang United Autonomous Government in the Inner Mongolia region and occupied Inner Mongolia, but the Mongolian People's Republic did not pay much attention to it as it was a matter of Inner Mongolia. However, there was a border dispute between Mongolia and Manchuria on the Khalkha River, and the Japanese military, which the Soviet Union also considered an enemy, attacked Khalkhin-Gol, a valley on the Khalkha River basin, in May 1939. Soviet and Mongolian allies fought the Japanese army, and as a result of fighting until September, the Japanese were defeated in the Battle of Khalkhin-Gol. Tsedembal, who succeeded Choi Balsan in 1952 with the death of Choi Balsan, continued powerful dictatorship. And Tsedembal also advocated a strong pro-Soviet diplomatic line like his predecessor Choi Balsan, and the Mongolian People's Republic was recognized as a part of the Soviet Union internationally. The democracy movement continued in Mongolia, and the year after the dissolution of the Soviet Union in 1991, a new constitution was enacted, breaking away from the socialist one-party dictatorship and moving the national title from the People's Republic of Mongolia to what is now Mongolia. Currently, Mongolia has a political form in which the president and the prime minister coexist. There is a prejudice that Mongolia is an underdeveloped country because the Mongols were nomadic in the past, but Mongolia is rapidly promoting urbanization. However, in the process, they are losing their identity and tradition as nomadic. Also, the gap between the rich and the poor and the environmental problems are emerging as a serious social problems. What kind of history will Mongolia, who had been passed down as nomadic people, rewrite after modernization?